here with the incredible Amara Hall.
Thank you for having me.
Otherwise known as a mix between Maya Angelou, Oprah, and then a lot of other women in your life. But you like go side by side to me.
That's a lot, first of all. Let's
I've always
just say
told you
that.
that.
I know you have, but
Oprah and
that's
Maya
a lot.
Angelou.
I know.
And Amara.
Literally, ever since I've known you.
You have wisdom. Like it's soul wisdom. I don't know where it comes from. It's from like lifetimes passed down to you or something.
Totally. I actually feel that way a lot. And I think it's just from the women I've met in my life, man. They've been incredibly strong. They've been incredibly driven. They've been, they've done a lot of things on their own. They've been mothers and fathers at times, and they've, traveled from across the world to raise babies, and they've been awesome.
Tell me about the women in your life. Tell me about your upbringing.
Well, West Baltimore, born and raised on the playground. I did enjoy the playground, but I was
monkey bars?
Oh my gosh, I loved the monkey bars. I was a kickballer. Once the guys figured out that like if they had me on their team, we'd probably win because you had to pick girls, but then there were like the girls that you didn't really want on your team. Anyway, I grew up in West Baltimore. I guess I had a pretty normal childhood. Mom, dad. I had a mommy and a daddy. Not to say there's anything wrong with having two mommies or two daddies.
Totally.
And yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think like what to even say about my childhood.
Tell me about your mom and your grandmother, because I know they profoundly impacted you.
So Norma Jean, who's my mother,
if there's whimpering throughout this interview, it's Ruby the dog. She has back arthritis.
Boo Boo's got some issues right now, and
she's a little bit on pain meds.
But you know what? We're going to just let her say what she needs to say.
Yeah, exactly. If she needs to speak up, if you hear a little cry, no one's dying. She's actually she just doesn't know what's going on. She's on a lot of pain meds because her poor back has major arthritis.
I know.
Sorry, baby. Okay.
We love you.
Tell me about Norma.
So Norma Jean, let's see. So my parents split up. I was in 8th grade, and we were moving into a new house. So it was my mother, my brother, my sister, and myself.
Did you know your parents were having troubles, or was it like kind of dropped on you?
I didn't really know. I guess there's always that sense of, you have a sense like, oh, my parents are fighting and this doesn't feel good. But I didn't know, oh my gosh, they're divorcing and we're going to move.
Was that pretty heavy when that happened?
It was heavy, but I'm the middle child. So I'm the peacemaker, and I'm the, make everybody laugh and lighten the mood, and let's think about what's going right, not about what's going wrong in my family. So I feel like this happened, and I was upset, and I was distraught, and I just decided, you know what? You got to keep things moving. So
to be in 8th grade and have that wisdom is kind of crazy. Like who thinks that way when they're an 8th grader?
Me. Yeah, it's interesting talking about it, because when it's happening, you're not really, that's just kind of how I operate. So I didn't think it was strange. And then, 4 years later, when you're dealing with it, when you're 18, you're like, oh my gosh, why do I have this weird perspective of guys? And why do I just want people to love me? And you're like trying to figure out where all these emotions are coming from that you've stuffed.
Yeah, stuffing right. Is all they always come out.
So I was a stuffer, but I understood that I've got to stuff it right now because I have this incredible opportunity ahead of me. I was going into this awesome private school that I didn't want to go to because I didn't want to wear a uniform, because I was a public school girl, and public school girls don't really mess with private school girls. Not to say there's anything wrong with that, because I became one. So I go to this school, I get this scholarship to play basketball, it was a leadership scholarship. Okay. But it was a scholarship to play basketball, and I just dove in. I just I used every opportunity I had to not think about what wasn't going right, you know, at home.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, you've got a choice here. You can sit here in the mess and just talk about the mess because, you know, my mother was very vocal. She was very, you know, vocal about what was happening to her and how she felt.
That's hard because it's
and
your
it was
dad.
Totally. And that's my dad. And so it's like, well, geez, you know, I didn't know all this was going on, but it totally, like my mother is this picture of grace and of mercy. Like her story is it's so wonderful to know my mother from 8th grade to now. You know what I mean? And
you've seen her evolve too.
I've seen her evolve too. And you come into this place where, oh my gosh, Norma Jean was Norma Jean before she had me, you know, and before she met my father, William, you know. And so just to think about her doing the best she can with what the knowledge she had.
And that's what Maya Angelou says. What does she say? Do the best you can until you know better.
Until you know better. And when you know better, do better.
And see?
Yeah.
That's you. And
yeah.
That's your family.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, cool. So you're always making these. I mean, I love it. I love Maya Angelou. I definitely don't put myself on the same echelon. But I love.
You don't yet, because you don't see what I see yet.
Okay.
But I feel so blessed to have known you before you become this thing that everyone's going to know. Because you are so rare. There's something about you that is so rare and so divinely inspired.
Thanks, girl.
That I know as long as you keep taking the steps that you have been, your life will impact in such a big way exactly how it's supposed to.
Thank you.
And I would be shocked if it was not on the same level with Oprah and Maya Angelou and Alicia Keys.
I receive that. I just like to say I receive that. I'm reading this book right now, and it's talking about, like, you know how when people, it's talking about letting go of self-deprecating humor, and when people give you compliments, say thank you.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
I feel like we have a lot of trouble accepting compliments. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Okay, so back to Norma Jean.
Okay. So, I'm in high school. Norma Jean is totally like rocking my world. Not to mention Eugenia, who's my grandmother, who she, you know, third parent, picking me up from school, taking me to this practice, taking me to that practice. Grandma's house was like after school camp for me and my cousins and my brother and my sister. She picked all of us up, and we would go to her house, and when our parents were done with school, done with work, they'd pick us up. And it was the best, because you walk into grandma's house and it's like, okay, you're either going to watch The Sound of Music, which was like the only VHS she had, or, you know, we're going to like play cards, or like we were just always doing stuff together. And so I feel like they just both instilled this need for community, you know, this need to like be there for my brothers and sisters. I'm just going to say brothers and sisters instead of cousins, but I mean like all of us. We're just this big group of close-knit people. And especially when I got into high school, I started to realize that there are a lot of families that don't like their family.
Yeah, totally. And
that was like so foreign to me. I was like, wait, what?
Like, don't want to hang out with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And like, I can understand that with your parents, because we all go through that. I went through that, not wanting to hang out with my mom. And now, now I'm like wishing for the day when we live in the same city again, and I can just like go and curl up and, you know, hey mom, what's going on?
What do you think the biggest pieces of wisdom that your mom and your grandmother in particular instilled in you? Like, because you have so much confidence and you're so wise. How did you
My mother was a praying mother. Period. End of story. And my father was a praying father. Every night before I went to bed, I heard, you are the head and not the tail. You are above only and not beneath. You are the daughter of a king. I heard that every single night before I went to sleep. And I had a mother who I knew was praying for me. Every morning I'd wake up and she'd be praying over me. before she, yeah, I know. Seriously, before she went to work.
She meant it. It wasn't just a prayer to say a prayer to do the church box, check it
like
off.
Even,
it was real prayer.
Like even now, I'll wake up if I'm at home for Christmas. When I wake up before my mom goes out to do whatever, she's got her hand like on my foot at the end of the bed and is like praying over me, and then she goes and
when you're sleeping?
does her so yeah, but that's just,
so it instilled a real faith in you.
Yeah, like definitely a faith in yourself, you know, and knowing that you have a light inside of you that cannot be distinguished based on, cannot be extinguished. What's that word?
Put out, extinguished.
Put out, thank you. By circumstances.
And you knew that.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
You knew you were divinely made from a young age. Mm-hmm. And you had this connection to your own faith from a young age.
Absolutely.
And you believed it and walked it.
Yeah.
Most young people don't have that strong connection, I feel like. Or maybe some do, but a lot don't.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm still, you know, trying to figure out what that is, and, you know, all of it. I think it's a day by day decision, and I was very, very blessed just to have parents that understood that you speak truth over your children. You speak what you want for them. You can actually speak over their lives. And I grew up watching that. And then my grandmother, I'll never forget it. It was her 85th birthday, because we threw her a surprise party. And, you know, all the kids, we did a little skit, because that's what we did. And growing up, it was like, our parents must be so sick of us. We just put on plays, we put on shows, we put on variety, comedy hours, whatever. And we had just finished with Grandma, and she was, you know, we were like, speech. And she goes, "A life lived for others is the only life worth living. And you all are a testament to that."
Wow.
And I'll never, ever forget that.
Especially in such a selfish world that we live in. I mean, I feel like especially our culture, you know, it's very self-driven.
Yeah.
To have influences who are saying live for others and who you respect, preaching that, like, that is something that is very good advice. And wow.
Yeah.
So when did you discover your gift of words? Because to me, you are the only person I've ever met who does spoken word.
Yeah.
And it flows out of you like just a river running. And you've been doing it since high school. You were in competitions.
I received that, yes.
But it's like you, and I want you to read some of it here in a little, bit. But when did you start realizing you had this gift? And when did you start taking the leap of faith to pursue it?
I recall a day. Okay, so I grew up always having a very musical side of the family, which my father's side, his baby sister is a jazz singer. Phenomenal. Aunt Julie, what's up, girl? And then her husband had a studio in his basement, and I'm gonna call him D-Lo. That's what we call him on the streets. Uncle Rob. And Uncle Rob was really the first person to allow me to sit in this safe place with him and create.
And no judgment zone.
No judgment zone. You know, I always had this thing where I was that kid. I loved beating on the desks. I loved, dropping a beat. I loved trying to understand. I love the music that really moved me, and I love listening to it over and over again. And I love, breaking songs down and understanding where this person was at I love reading liner notes. I love knowing who the musicians were that played on it. I want to know. Yeah, I wanted to know it all. And I was sitting with Uncle Rob one day, and he had, at this point, he had my cousin Natalie and my cousin Nicole, who, Natalie's 10 years younger than me. So, I can tell you it was 2007, 2008 when I really started writing things for my future self to be encouraged
Talk
by.
to me about that, because
Yeah.
who does that?
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
I kind of do that stuff now, but I'm 34 basically. You know, like
Yeah.
you're in high school.
I was, well, let's see, 2008. This would have been post college. So,
Okay,
I mean, I'd been writing at this time. Okay, and you said
you were in competitions.
So I was in competitions in college.
Okay.
So that's when I started writing things and then started being okay with like, okay, what is this spoken word kind of thing? It's very rhythmic. It's very, it's got a lot of attitude, a lot of swag. There's freedom in these words, and how you say them can just dispel all the doubts and any stresses you're carrying. You know, it can just poof, be gone.
How did you even discover spoken word?
A friend.
Scary. That's
yeah,
terrifying.
really scary.
To speak spoken word is the hardest thing I think you could do.
I think a friend of mine just asked if I'd be interested, and I happened to be in a season of yes. I'm not always in a season of yes, but I happened to be in a season of yeah. Okay, yeah, let's try it. I'd been writing previously before this. I'd always been writing. I'd always kept a journal. Oh my gosh, I have so many journals. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I just have journals and journals full of just words. Just sometimes you're writing a feeling. Sometimes it's, a letter to yourself. Sometimes it's, I feel like my most inspired things have been a stream of what I call a stream of consciousness.
I like
and I feel like
writing a feeling. Writing a feeling.
Writing
That's
the
so
feeling.
profound, like to try to put into words this feeling.
Yeah. The moment though that I knew I had something special, Uncle Rob was in the studio, and he was, gosh. I was trying to think if I could remember that exact verse. Him and I were collaborating on an idea we had called See the Light. And so he's in there finishing it up, and I had stepped out of the studio and just started writing. Had no idea, what I was writing. But this is something that I come back to regardless of where I am in my life, regardless of if I'm happy, regardless of if things are going right, things are going wrong. I always come back to this, and I wrote it in 2008, and it's how I'm probably gonna open every show I ever do. And
Can we have a little taste?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Totally kidding. Honestly, I never really felt like I was worth it until he beckoned loud and told me I had a purpose. My past giving me doubt as lies creep to the surface, feeling so weighed down. Can't show my face in churches. You're worthless. That's all I hear. Becoming my deepest fear, so I'm hurting. Starting to believe that no one really cares, but my question is, Lord, are you really there? I'll ask once more, Lord, universe, source energy, are you really there? Because if you are, can you reach out and meet me where I am? Here I stand, stripped, bruised, and my hope diminished. I'm hard-headed, still doing it my way. Living and sinning, giving into temptation because it's easier than repenting. Becoming cool with complacent, got the enemy grinning. Rather keep faking, be average than ask for a new beginning. Then I heard him say, get your mind right, child. You were made in my image, and I've been anxiously awaiting to show you you've been forgiven. You've been forgiven. All the bullshit we carry. You've been forgiven.
Amara?
Just.
That leads me to another question. Like
Yeah.
you so eloquently put it. You have known your faith for so long, and you have been in touch with it for so long. But it is so easy to want to go down the wrong roads or whatever.
Right.
How have you navigated that have you ever gotten lost on the wrong path?
All the time. Yeah.
What is
check.
How do you
Yeah.
How do you navigate those situations? Because you always come back. And not like it's anything terrible, but we all have roads where we get lost.
Absolutely. 100% agree. I was reading something tremendous that inspired me. Excuse me, and I wish I could remember the author right now, but it said we are just living from moment to moment of belief. We are just living like you can only have enough faith for moment to moment. You know? Like that's all. You can't have you don't have enough faith for tomorrow and the next day because you have no idea what that day brings. We can only have faith from this moment to the next moment.
So we have to live in the moment.
That yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel
it's
like
hard to live in the moment sometimes.
Oh my
isn't
gosh.
It?
Yeah.
Do you have techniques
it's excruciating.
for living in the moment?
Well, I'm trying a new one right now called meditation, which I told you about before we got on the mosaic. And that pretty much for me right now goes with 3 minutes of, okay, just check your breathing, just relax. I wonder if I put the clothes from the washing machine into the dryer. No, shut up, just relax. I wish Diesel would stop scratching. It's really distracting. Just relax. Oh my gosh, I need to get stamps. You know, it's like all the just like laundry list of things goes in your mind.
And it feels so crucial at that time, but it doesn't matter at all.
No,
really,
at all. And so, you know, I feel like I do a variety of things. I meditate, I pray. My biggest one though, is just being around people who lift me up. That's the biggest thing that I know I can do for myself. I told you the other day, I was having one of those days. I had a day I woke up and I swear from the moment I opened my eyes, somehow it had already been decided. This day is, you know, this is just not going to be a good day.
This day is just
you know, you wake up and you're just like, yep, let's just redo. You know, let's start this one over. And I thought, I need to be with some pure sunshine. And I texted Caroline and I was like, what are you doing? Can I join you? What is happening? I just need to be around someone I know that will speak truth over my life.
Well, you do that
you know?
to me.
And so
you're the one I go to when I need that.
Well, right back at you. So glad we can both, you know, be that for each other. But that is my main thing, because those days that, you know, and we have them, and it's good to be alone. I'm not saying that sometimes you don't need to be alone, because you do. Sometimes you need to be in your thoughts.
But you know when you're alone and it's spiraling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Put yourself around someone else whose energy you can absorb and just breathe with, you know. And I read things, you know, right now I'm reading this book that's awesome. It's called You Are a Badass, and it's specifically about stopping doubt. Mm-hmm. Just nipping it in the butt.
Because it's kind of scary. You recently took a very large leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes, I did, girl. Like, yes, I did.
Some people would say you be crazy.
I am.
You walk away from a great paying job.
Oh, yes, I did.
To literally pursue your artistry full force.
Totally.
I want to talk about that.
Woo!
Because that to me, when you walk in faith that strongly, that is like you're showing up for God. You're saying, okay, God, you put this calling on my heart. I feel it. Mm-hmm. And now I'm going to dive into the abyss and just go for it. And that is like the most terrifying thing ever, because you don't know what in the freaking world is going to happen.
Nope.
And you're trusting.
And you always go to the worst thing. You like, nope, ain't gonna work, ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna blow up. You know, somehow something just astronomically wrong is gonna happen, right?
And you feel like you could have potentially ruined your life, and now you'll be broke and living in your car. And so tell me about this leap of faith that you just did, because obviously you have always been doing spoken word. It's always been who you are. You've been speaking truth. You are a truth speaker, and you're also a healer.
Thank you.
And I feel like that comes from your words.
Thank you.
So tell me about what's happening now
in
Amara Hall's life and career.
So, as you know, this was 2 months ago now. I quit my job. So
and it was a good job.
It was a good job. So the past 4 years I've been in the music industry as on the business end. That's where we met. You know, we met at Hit Shop Records, and I've been everything from a president's assistant to a office manager to a promo coordinator to a artist manager to a, you know, wrangler of people and things and coffee and whatever the F needs to get it done kind of person.
And you always get it done.
That's what we do. That's what we do. Boo, get her done. Yeah. And I feel like I've been learning this get her done mentality, you know, and you don't have to see the whole staircase to take one step, you know, and if someone, it taught me so much in just figuring it out.
What did you learn from all those experiences? Because you knew that wasn't your soul's calling, but it was kind of crucial for you to go to school in learning the entertainment industry in a way.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I thought about it as. I was like, you know what? This is my grad school. You know, a lot of my friends went to grad school. A lot of them have PhDs. A lot of them are in medical school. This was my grad school. This was my show up every day and get it done.
And show up every day and serve others.
Yeah.
You have not been serving yourself, really. You have been helping other people accomplish their dreams and learning along the way.
And totally. And learning a lot. And learning, oh my gosh, I've had some really, 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 really awesome teachers. And this last leap of faith came from, I was actually a Southeast regional, and I was working records. And every day, wake up, and you put your best foot forward, and no matter how many times you hear no, you keep asking the question. And no matter how many times you hear no, you show up at their doorstep.
That's training camp.
And no matter how many times you hear no, you keep asking the question, and you do it with polite persistence.
That is a skill set right there.
Yeah. Totally.
Because you can't, it's like, you know, most people when they get no, they're like, okay, run away, never come back, hide in a corner or cave and like just die.
Totally. Well, it taught me a lot because I don't know if you know this, but I'm not like a pushy person. I'm not like a, you know,
hey guy, Amara Hall again. You gonna add my record today? Okay, great. I'll come back tomorrow. You know that record I've been talking about?
So that record, John, did I mention
I have a record?
Your hair looks phenomenal today. I have a record that I brought it. Here it is.
It's funny, I have it with me. And I'll be like, hell no. Okay, great. I'll come back tomorrow.
Awesome. See you later. Love you too. Bye.
Because talk about being rejected on a daily basis. Being a regional at a record label.
Well, you know a little something about that.
I did it for 6 months, and I was like, I couldn't last much longer. It was same thing.
Yeah.
Amazing learning opportunity.
Yeah.
It taught me how to navigate all different types of powerful personalities. Because the record industry, there are opinionated, powerful people who ain't budging in their thoughts, and you have to navigate them because you have to be polite.
Yep.
And it teaches you, then you kind of just become that. It is a way better way of communicating.
Yeah. And I learned a lot just about having to ask for what you want.
You do, don't you?
You gotta ask for it.
You can't do this whole like shy, sheepish thing.
Nope.
Sheepish thing.
Nope.
How did you learn how to ask for what you want? What was the moment when you realized that?
Well, I mean, I guess I've learned it in different ways throughout my entire life. But specifically as it relates to the music industry, I learned that if you don't show people who you are, they will tell you who you're supposed to be. And so you have to.
That's Oprah says an aha moment. Okay, can you say that again?
What did I say?
If you don't show people who you are.
If you don't show people who you are, they will tell you who you're supposed to be. And so I just knew that, okay, all I want to be is a tiebreaker. And I know that.
What does that mean?
Well, when someone is sitting there and they're thinking about, and I want them to want to do it because they want to support me and my artist.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
And I want to be someone who, when people think of me, they think, you know what? I'm going to add her record because, you know what? she's just been really kind to me. Or, you know, I used to just send random notes all the time just because we're all just people, you know, we're all just freaking people trying to figure out our lives, trying to figure out relationships and trying to figure out, you know, how to do shit the right way. And
but none of us
like,
know what we're doing.
None of us.
And then you have all these people involved, and you analyze yourself so much. You think people hate you, and it's just awful. You can just really go down a rabbit hole.
I know.
You want to be liked, but then also you
Yep.
got to be authentic.
Yep.
So how do you straddle that line of being liked and authentic? Because I feel like that is something I've sometimes struggled with.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm also still learning that one. I feel like what I thought of first when you said that was I've always wanted to be the friend I want to have.
I love that.
You know, like I want people to want to pick up the phone and call me because they just need to hear a smiling face, or they just need to hear a word, or maybe they need to hear nothing at all. You know, I'm really good at just being with people when they need someone to just be with them and shut the fuck up.
You are.
You know?
Do you intentionally choose the way your delivery towards people? Like, do you ever want to be like, you're a stupid idiot, you're so dumb, blah, blah, but then you're like, okay, it's okay. We're all human. We all make mistakes, and here you come with your wise advice. Do you like ever filter it? Or is it just how it comes out of you?
That's a good question. I'm sure.
It comes out of you like that.
I think it just comes out of me like that. I mean, I'm sure there are times where I'm like, this bitch.
But you have grace for people.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
It's important to extend grace to people. A life lesson I learned, you know, in between that 14 and 18 period, you know, where you're freaking out because your father is not in your household anymore, and this vision, you know, of this man and this protector is not the same vision that you once had, you know, and it's changing and it's scary and it's, you know, all these things are happening to me, and you walk around and you realize you're carrying unforgiveness, and you realize you've got all these things in your backpack that how the fuck did they get there? Because I didn't pack them in there. You know, you let other people put shame and guilt and all that other shit that we carry around because other people projected this and that on us. And I'll never forget it. I was in Ecuador and I wrote him a letter. And in that letter, I swear I released everything I'm saying now. You know, I just released it. And I decided that I'm responsible for my feelings. I'm responsible for how I impact the world, you know, and because someone else did this or that doesn't have any bearing on how I treat other people, you know.
So
and
you say that too. You don't pick up other people's trash. How do you say that? You hear people's problems, but you don't pick up their trash. You said something.
Yeah, well, you can't put other people's baggage and garbage in your backpack and carry it around for them. It's not yours. You know, it's not yours to carry.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you learned that in a way forgiving.
I feel
your
like
dad.
yeah, totally, 100%.
And you fully forgave him.
Mm-hmm.
And you released it.
Yeah.
But you have to speak it, don't you
I have to speak it. And I mean, I still go back and forth, you know. I'm a little girl. You know, it's like, oh, well, he didn't call me at 12:01 on my birthday, you know, or whatever I want to get upset about. I still, you know, have moments where I'm just in my feelings, but for the most part, I think that going through that period of my life really taught me to rely, like, and then my dad dropped this piece of information on me. He's like, you know what, Amara, I'm just a steward, you know. I mean, yes, I'm your father and I'll always be there, but I'm just a steward, you know. I'm not supposed to be the one to show you all these great wonders, because you really have to find them out for yourself.
Wow.
You know,
That's kind of freeing and scary, like pit in your stomach at the same time.
Totally.
Because you're like, no,
Totally.
you're supposed to totally take care of me.
Me. Yeah, I know.
So that kind of set you on your path to like, okay, like you realized your dad was a flawed human, just like all of us are.
Yep.
And you realize that all these people that you looked up to, they don't know any better than you do, really. So at that point, at a young age, you relied on yourself.
Yeah. I mean, what I would call an inner light, what I call my gut, what I would call God, what I would call, light, supreme, ultraviolet rays and beams and stuff, like all, like your core, your, wherever you gather that energy from, that is like refreshing, and it's, you don't have to be anything to be in its presence. You just are.
Totally.
You know what I mean? What I would call that light. Yeah, it's inner peace. Absolutely. It's, it's why people strive for, joy and not happiness, because happiness, can change day to day, but joy, that doesn't change.
Okay, so you're in this job, you're working records, you're talking to radio PDs. You actually are part of a promotion staff that gets a #1 song.
Yeah.
I Love This Life.
I love this life.
So you're crushing it at your job. You're not just like doing this job. You're actually like killing it at this job.
I'm going to go right ahead to honored to be a part of their team, because I have never met, I was supposed to see that. I was supposed to see that rise. I was supposed to see that magic, because what Chris and Preston do when they bring people into a room, Chris and Preston are low cash. You are the only person in that room. They understand that this is a business of relationships, and they understand that if you bring people into your world and make them feel a part of something, that when that time comes, they'll lift you up, they'll lift you up to that #1 spot.
And they value those relationships.
They value them. And we saw that, and I got to be a part of a gold record with I Love This Life, and a #1 with I Know Somebody. And I was just really blessed to have someone who believed in me enough to say, here's the Southeast. Why don't you go scurry along and take it? I'd never done this before. So
by that means like you now are in charge of all the radio stations in the Southeast, getting them to add Low Cash's singles. So it's like, fly on, girl.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are guys that people love and loved to support when that roller coaster, I say, was like, chucking towards the upswing. But it was an uphill battle, and it was a battle. And I feel like it just taught me exactly. She knows. She's like, girl, it was a battle. Woo! Yes, it was. But it also, it makes those moments so sweet in February, when you're sitting there and you're toasting them, and they're all sitting on stage talking about this wonderful moment in their lives,
they have so hard for.
They have a #1 record, and no one will ever take that away from them. And they should be proud beyond belief of themselves, because they never ever, you want to talk about never giving up. There's never given up, and then there's like Low Cash never given up. They never gave up.
They've been doing it for like 20 years and never stopping.
For real. Can't stop, won't stop.
And stayed positive and happy the whole time. And they finally got their big break.
Absolutely.
So you finally got your big break, and then you quit.
Yep.
So talk to me about that.
Well, good segue.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, the #1 of I Know Somebody coincided with, it was like that rise of that song coincided with the decline of my grandmother's health. And my grandmother turned 98 on October 13th, and I flew in to see her. This was like, this was the week that we were, we went 6-1, so I think we were at 6. And, I just told I was like, guys,
on the charts?
So this is push week.
Okay.
Okay. And, told my bosses, like, guys, I've got to be there. I've just got to be there. I don't know how long we have. I don't know if this is what this is, but I've got to be there. And they were just like, go. Didn't even bat an eye. Forever grateful that I went, because we have so many moments in our grandparents' lives and even our parents' lives where, little things happen here and there, and we can't be there for everything. But I've always felt that was one of my love languages, was quality time. So I fly in. It's Grandma's birthday. We celebrate her 98th birthday in the hospital, like, for real. I can't even think about all the things she's seen. She must think we are fucking crazy. She's like, I grew up during the Great Depression.
Yeah.
And now there's a phone that I can talk to my granddaughter on and see her.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I ended up staying in Baltimore for about a week, and I'm glad I did, because I would, I'd work for a few hours and then I'd go and just hang out with her. And we got to the end of the week, and I go back home, and 2 days later she passes.
Wow. And
I remember being on a conference call before I found out. I remember we had a conference call. It was Monday. And I said, they were all asking, and Gator goes, so for all the people who've just now gotten their, first number one, how does it feel? And I remember sitting in that for a second and being like, it feels good. Feels great. Everyone's saying congratulations, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, like high fives from all around. Radio is actually calling me. What? And it feels great. But it didn't feel how I thought it would feel.
How did you think it would feel?
Butterflies and rainbows and stickers and glitter and
puppies.
Oh my gosh. Puppies. Yep. Just rims of puppies. Just rooms of puppies. Every hour, new sets of puppies just coming fresh, on in. Just fresh puppies. Oh my gosh. Yes. And it didn't feel like that. And I had to face a very real truth within myself, which was, what are you doing this for? Who are you doing this? Who are you doing this for?
Who were you doing it for?
I think I was doing it for a combination of people within my building, music mentors who had put me in a position where I was in this position, and people that had just instilled so much belief in me that I could do it, that I thought I could do it, and I did it. I did it.
It felt good. It probably was validating.
It was very validating.
So that was probably a necessary thing you needed to feel, to validate that you actually have this ability to make something start from the bottom and go to the top.
For sure.
In a real business world.
For sure.
That's like hard to do.
Yeah, it was hard. And afterwards, quite frankly, I needed a fucking vacation. I was like, well, woo, Lord. And then it was like, okay, let's do it again. And I was just like,
you're like, I had one in me. That was it. Drop the mic. I'll catch y'all. I'll watch you guys on the charts. You literally didn't think you had another one in you.
Well, like, I don't know what I was thinking, honestly, Amara. Like, what? You're going to get a number one, and then they're going to send you to Cancun for a week, and then, but I just realized that I feel like I felt things too deeply, When people didn't call me back, I'd be like, well, fuck, why didn't they call me back? Like, I'm a nice person to talk to. Am I a nice person to talk to? Maybe I suck. Well, people tell me I'm cool. No, you're not that cool. Oh my, you know what I mean?
Oh, do I know what you mean? I have lived in that real tapes. I think all artist mentality people can just, it's just over analyzing.
Yeah. And I felt my true self, which is I'm a feeling person, you know. I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit, as Erykah Badu said. So why are you trying to put this square peg into a round hole?
And you wrote like a spoken word song about this too.
Yes, I did, girl.
What's that one called?
Well, I call it interlude. Oh, I don't know. It's called Interlude right now.
Can you give us a little bit of that?
But it starts, wake up, get dressed, go to work, 9 to 5 till it hurts. Well, that really don't work for me. Wake up, get happy, do your job. 9 to 5's all a blur. That really don't work for me. It's time to let my passion do the talking. 9 to 5, stop fucking with my creativity. Because while I'm ever so grateful, I always wanted to be able to put food on the table, support my family, and those of y'all who've been with me. But deep inside, it's killing me. My soul cries, it's killing me. It's killing me. Yeah. But my soul cries every time that 9 to 5 takes over. Seems those summer days are over. Want to go back to 10 feet tall on daddy's shoulders. Those days, see, I never knew what I had to do to be the better me. See, music betters me, makes me a better person, makes it all come together and feel worth it. Yes, you are worthy and the journey's worth it. Just keep working, eyes on your purpose. Listen to yourself. Keep your eyes on your purpose. Yeah. Yeah.
Did that come?
I feel like I should call it Eyes on Your Purpose.
Yes.
Maybe that's more like.
I like Eyes on Your Purpose.
Yeah.
Did that come to you in that season?
Oh, yeah.
And you were
Just
like,
came.
your soul was screaming
Just
at you.
came. Well, you and I had a dream board session.
We had one of the most spiritual experiences.
Yeah.
Probably actually
It was.
the most spiritual experience I've had was that moment with you.
Yeah. I needed to dream.
Bit.
Oh, man. I was in this moment of, it was December 4th. It was my mother's birthday. I'll never forget it.
Of course it was your mom's birthday.
It was my mom's birthday. I know, right? You had just come home from something and you were like, and you just texted me out of the blue and you were just like, hey, you want to have a sleepover? And I was like, oh, we haven't had a sleepover in so long. It's like, yeah, let's go have a sleepover. And I was already thinking like, okay, we can dream board. This will be great. Because I was needing some help articulating what this purpose is, because I felt it, and it can be so frustrating when you feel it and you know that it's coming and you know it will be revealed to you, but it's never fast enough. It's never fast enough. And every day you wake up and you're like, it's this thing, it's just burning, and it's this thing, it makes your heart beat, it makes you sweat and feel amazing. And I couldn't articulate it, and I was like, okay. And you texted me. As you know, we often flow with each other when we just need some sort of something, you know, from one another. And yeah, I get over here and I've got my notebook, check, you know, I was like, I don't know what I was thinking we were going to do, but what happened, I never could have imagined. You know what I mean?
Ditto.
Like, I was literally thinking, okay, we're going to like cut out scrapbooks and I'm going to like, you know, put things like summer and, you know, bikinis and like, you know, I want to be on an island somewhere. And I don't know what I thought it would be, but it really was magical, because you just started asking me the questions I needed to ask myself. And I finally had the time to think about them. You know?
We started that session at like 9 at night and we went to like 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
It was like.
And then it was like, okay, go to sleep. Okay, we have to go to sleep. Okay, we have to go to sleep. Yeah, it was crazy.
On fire. Because all of a sudden, I think you hadn't realized how your spoken word gift is actually your career.
I know.
You had been doing it as more.
I know.
Like, you knew you loved it.
Yeah.
But like you hadn't quite gone all in.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And I started, you know, Caroline was like asking me questions, you know, and you're like, well, what is, you know, what are you really good at? You know, it was something really dumb. You know, it was really straightforward and dumb. Like, well, what are you really good at? And I was just like, I don't know, spoken word. And you were like, well, spoken word, that shit. And I was like, what?
And you could always like spoken word just in life. Like you like almost speak in spoken word just in living in real life.
That's awesome.
Then you say, oh, I just have notebooks and notebooks and notebooks of spoken word, and I just have recordings.
Like all the notes on my phone.
And you also
like,
recorded basically a full album already.
Yeah.
You're just kind of doing it on the side.
Yeah,
but you like have these amazing masterpiece songs that are like spoken word. Then you have some collabs with some singers and some beats and like this creation.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh yeah, I just have all this just sitting here. Like, who just has all that just sitting there in spoken word? You know, that is not like a common thing.
I know. When we discovered it, it was kind of like,
gosh, this is like in your face.
I was like,
blinding your eyes. You just can't see it.
What had happened was, yeah, that's just, you know, yeah. I don't even know what to call that.
What did you feel after that moment, though? Like, how did you feel? Because like that moment, I feel like you decided to pursue it full force.
I felt an insane amount of just purpose. You know, I feel like there's always that feeling in the morning of, I want to wake up and I want to be jolted out of bed. I'm so excited to do what I was made to do, you know, and it was, for the first time, it was a release. It was a release of all the stress I had been carrying, thinking that, and this is something that Tyler helps me with all the time. That's my boyfriend. Okay. He always says, you have the right to change your mind. And I've been holding on to, you know, all these expectations of who I felt I was supposed to be in the professional world, you know, and I mean, a lot of my artists don't even really know that I've had this stuff on the side, because I understand the importance of what I was doing was to be there, you know, and it wasn't really to shine a light on whatever this is that was happening, because I needed this to happen inside of me, and I needed to come to it by myself, you know. I really needed to. And even if you're, you know, even if your path is this, we get so frustrated that it's not like this. Like, even if it's like this, like, wiggling. Holy moly. I mean, I feel like the knowledge that I've accrued in the last 5 years being in this town it's invaluable, and it's exactly what I needed to propel me.
Before you were ready to launch, you needed to go to school.
Yeah, absolutely. School of hard knocks.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
It's not my thing.
No? Okay.
Yeah. We don't. That's not my talent.
You're gonna be like my Puff Daddy. Like, I'm gonna have you come on the track and just be like,
Yeah, because I have swag like Puff Daddy. Yes.
Okay.
Me and Puff, we're like
2 peas in a pod.
Exactly the same. Like, I'm so cool. Like he is. I could never even try. He's so badass. But thank you. That's nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me what's happening next. Okay, so we have a debut together. This podcast is actually going to air.
Can you believe it?
We made an agreement that night.
Tell them what we wrote.
We made an agreement that night that you were going to have a big Nashville showcase, because you've been doing this and you've been pursuing it kind of quietly and like doing stuff. But like, we made an agreement that we were going on your birthday, May 17th.
Yep.
We were going to have a show. Well, you were going to have a show, but like, obviously I was in this with you, because we were like grabbing this thing together.
Totally.
And my podcast, I'm having a podcast like little launch party on May 17th, and guess who the featured performer is?
Who?
Amara Hall.
Is that not just...
It's so cool, and it was a
so
coincidence.
Crazy.
Like, when I got the party and the launch thing together, randomly, I even tried to change it to May 10th. Because I didn't think I didn't want to skip a week with podcasts.
Totally.
Like, my schedule wasn't lining up. And she's like, the woman in charge of everything was like, no, we really need it to be on May 17th. I was like, oh, okay.
I'm like, fine.
And then everything fell into line. This interview, you and I fell into line.
Yeah.
You performing fell into line. And then I looked at the date, and it was May freaking 17th.
I cannot believe that.
If that's not God.
Yeah. Just like, drop the mic.
If that is not God, then I don't know what is.
It gives... I cannot think about it too hard, because it's just magic. You know, I feel like most of the time when things are happening as they're supposed to happen, it feels like breathing, you know? It just feels natural and it feels like magic.
Have you experienced
it just happens.
Some pretty magical moments?
Yeah.
I want people to feel that, because you have to have faith and you have to be brave, and you have to quit your job after you just got like basically 2 back-to-back number ones, and you're crushing it at your very well, high-paid, respectful job. You have to be willing to quit with no freaking parachute.
And and no more bi-weekly payments. And
no
oh
more
my gosh,
benefits, no more anything.
But it seems so crazy because this whole time I was so caught up on like, well, how are you going to say no to this? You know what I mean? How are you going to walk away from bi-weekly payments? And when I think about that measured up to what I really want to do, you know, and how I want to impact the world, it's just fluff, you know? It's just
one
fluff.
Life. Why would you not let
We got one.
Why would you not let your soul sing?
Let your freak flag fly. Let it fly.
All day.
And another thing, this is another Tylerism. Gosh, he is always saying that the teacher is the teacher because they've failed the most times. So
they know. They've tried it all.
You have it on your board. No fear, all faith. You know, like we get so caught up in that initial like, well, what if people don't like it? What if oh my gosh, and I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? This podcast is a leap of faith, right? People are gonna hate it, right?
I'm gonna look like an idiot.
And it's like, if you don't get past that initial feeling of I can't breathe,
you won't do anything.
You won't do anything.
You won't. You have to be so prepared for people to laugh at you and everything to fall apart. But that also comes from knowing that you're following your calling and trusting in the higher force more than the external world that we live in.
Yeah.
And that is what I call a leap of faith. What is that quote? We wrote a quote
today. You have got to read this quote.
We said this that night.
Caroline just straight up said this. She's gonna say I was on it. No,
it was a flow.
It was a flow though. You're right. We were flowing. We were flowing.
Because I had just walked away from an incredible opportunity in the music industry, like signed a record deal and everything. And I walked away to pursue hosting and this podcast. With like, what? What is I didn't even know what a podcast was. Oh, let me start my podcast and walk away from a major label record deal because that's smart.
Said no one ever.
Said no one ever but me. But I knew it, like how you felt like you were dying in your job, being a regional. I was dying in this record deal, and I knew it wasn't my calling. So we had this quote, and we said,
go on.
I know that even though I didn't know where I was going, I knew the moment I was walking away from a great opportunity that there was a greater one in front of me. That's what I call a leap of faith. Woo! And that's what you just did, girl. And the world will know your name, Amara Hall, because you will change the world for the greater good. And you have so much love. You have so much grace. You have so much... You have the ability to make people want to forgive themselves, to forgive other people, and then march on to be the better version of themselves. You have that ability. You are a healer. I've said it from the second I met you. You take people where they are. You don't get mad at them for their flaws and the terrible things they've done. You wrap them in your arms and you go, okay, we're gonna be great together.
Yeah,
makes me want to cry because that's how much I like believe in you and like I know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I said, mark my words. The first woman black president will probably be here within the next 20 years. I pray sooner.
Yeah.
You will be at the inaugural address.
I know. We totally had that vision.
Words.
We had that vision.
You will.
Hey, I accept that.
I know you will.
I accept
and
that.
I have to be your date.
Can you imagine?
I will imagine. I see it.
I know. Oh my gosh, girl. They got real butter on these rolls. What? I mean, yeah. Okay. Let's do it.
I know.
So what's 20 years from now?
Hopefully it'll be sooner, but I say within 20 years that will happen.
Okay.
And by then you will be like deep into your career. You and Alicia Keys will have done tons of collabs because y'all are twins.
Lord have mercy.
You and Alicia Keys.
I know. I feel like I can't even talk about Alicia Keys because I dream about her. Like I literally think we're already friends.
You are. Y'all are cut from the same cloth.
Is that weird?
Mm-mm. A soul knows it's when it meets someone it is supposed to be with, you know?
She wrote a song called Superwoman, and it goes, 'cause I am a superwoman. Yes, I am. Yes, you are. Even when I'm a mess, still put on a vest with an S on my chest. Oh, yes, I'm a superwoman. And I was reading an interview, and she said she wrote that song because she needed to hear that song.
And that's what you do.
That's how I feel. You know?
Okay, so we're going to wrap up.
Yep.
Leave your light. You're just a ball of inspiration. Like, everything you say is inspiring. You are inspiration. To me, you are just bright light.
Thank you.
So this is going to be hard to ask you to just pick some piece of inspiration, but leave some inspiration.
Okay.
Of how you've been inspired or how you want to inspire people.
I would say, as someone who has a very creative side and is very conscious of the fact that I am surrounded by so many bright lights. You know, we are in such a super, super saturated city of bright lights.
How awesome for us.
How awesome for us. I'm glad you said that instead of what I sometimes think, which is, well, gosh, I hope my light will shine just as bright as theirs. You know, we get like, you
start doubting yourself.
You start doubting yourself.
Because you see all these other people shining so bright.
I want to leave you with, write with no intention of making it great. To all my creative people out there, do it for the love. You know, write with no intention of making it great. You know, we go into all these rooms with these people who have all these accolades, and they've done this and they've done that, and they've taken it to this place and that place, and we forget we are but vessels. We are here to leave, you know, our voice, you know, and our perspective, and no one else can do you like you do you. Nobody.
And that should give you the greatest confidence to pursue what you know you're meant to do.
For sure.
Ruby agrees. Okay, so take us out with one last spoken word.
Okay, taking you out. It's a couple things that I'm sure of. The hardest steps to take are the first ones, the ones that will break your heart if you don't try. You don't try or even go for it. So baby, go for it and don't wait. For who they want you to be probably ain't that great. Know the trials that you beat are the ones you face. Head on, sweaty palms, saying, please, Lord, today. Give me the courage, because it's got to be today. I got to make a change. There's got to be a way for me to find a sense of freedom hiding in the mundane, to keep believing that I'm doing the right thing. Peace.
Amara Hall. Y'all come see us at Aurora, downtown Nashville.
It's going to be awesome.
On her birthday.
I'm turning 30, y'all.
May 17th. It's going to be epic.
It's
Amara
awesome.
It's going to be her Nashville showcase, and it's going to rock your face and your world. See y'all there.
Peace.
Amara Hall.
Wake up, get dressed, go to work, 9 to 5 till it hurts. That really don't work for me. Wake up, get happy, do your job, 9 to 5's all a blur. That really don't work for me. It's time to let my passion do the talking. 9 to 5, stop fucking with my creativity. Cause while I'm ever so grateful, so I always wanted to be able to put food on the table, support my family, those of y'all who've been with me, but deep inside it's killing me. My soul cries, it's killing me. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. But my soul cries every time that 9 to 5 takes over. Seems those summer days is over. Wanna go back to 10 feet tall on daddy's shoulders. Those days, see, I never knew what I had to do to be the better me. See, music betters me, makes me a better person, makes it all come together and feel worth it. Yes, you are worthy and the journey's worth it. Just keep working, eyes on your purpose. Listen to yourself, keep your eyes on your purpose. Wake up, get dressed, go to work, 9 to 5 till it hurts. That really don't work for me. That really don't work for me. Woo! I'ma go after what I want and stop waiting for tomorrow. Cause today I'm feeling some kind of way. It's about time you follow. A woman who ain't afraid to take the reins, giddy up, experience life by my side. Are you man enough to stow away your pride, take flight, and then I'm more and more of me and you, making beautiful music, life, happiness, searching for eternal, all the things unseen, passionate yet peaceful, and so undeniable. I mean, it's indescribable, really, but if I had to, I guess it'd be something like, in the quiet of the night, thoughts of you is all I'm leaning on. Sit in silence if you like, your aura has me beaming on. Present gifts right now and what's to come. No matter what's around the corner, I'm not afraid, I can't run, because everything about you draws me in closer. I got my eyes to the sky, baby, I'm so focused, I won't miss. The unthinkable is reachable in your arms, especially in your kiss. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm ready for this. So ready for this, so ready for bliss. So ready to spend my life in supreme happiness. Most of all, I think I'm ready for a relationship. Hardest steps to take are the first ones. The ones that will break your heart. If you don't try. Don't try or even go for it. Baby, go for it. And don't wait for who they want you to be. Shit, probably ain't that great. Know the trials that you beat are the ones you face. Head on, sweaty palms saying, please, today, give me the courage, because it's gotta be today. I gotta make a change, yeah, there's gotta be a way. For me to find a sense of freedom hiding in the mundane. To keep believing I'm doing the right thing. Back at it, I can't help it. The music is the message. This music is my refuge. And I refuse to let the doubt creep in. Bugging like it's no end. I've been doing my thing. I've been trying to stay patient. I've been doing my da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I've been doing my thing. I've been trying to stay patient. I've been doing my da-da-da-da-da. A-bum-bum. A-bum. I'm done.